The New Order by Mick Gordon, which is being played upon request made by a certain brainy fan of mine. But before we get into all that, let's touch on the evening news, which is actually pretty decent for a change. Following the loss of planetary defenses, the Helldivers of the 104th regrouped, watched some tank Tolman videos for inspiration, rallied and made a successful counterattack upon the vile insects. They started to gain some momentum earlier today, and shortly before this broadcast went live, Fenrir III was declared clean of bugs once more. The battle is won. This sudden turn of events was helped along by the fact that the Predator strain seemed to vanish upon the surface of Fenrir several hours ago. I am hoping and assuming that they were all killed, and the standard garden variety trevenants were easily disposed of. Heck, I even managed to get in on the action myself with some of my fist units. The hatchet is a wonderful method for disposing of hunters, which are always trying to get in your face. But going toe-to-toe with a predator stalker is not a good idea. They hold all the cards, despite not having fingers and possessing only long, stabby thingies. I don't know what they're called. However, a sporeful event has taken place upon Boar Rock, which we only finished cleaning off just last week, and the predator strain has been spotted there. Helldivers, I highly advise high-power shotguns like the Punisher or the Cookout. Being able to knock your foe back is going to save your life and the lives of your team far more often than you'd think. The Stalwart, cranked up to its highest firing rate, also is a good way of dealing with predator stalkers. They get turned into guacamole with only a few moments of sustained fire. And trust me, you're going to want the highest possible firing rate from your Stalwart on these things. When predator stalkers are a point of concern, there is no such thing as too much DACA. The thing that's going to save your life more than anything else, keep your squad tight and watch each other's backs. If you get separated and cornered by half a dozen stalkers, you're going to find out exactly how good your dodging game is, or your family is going to get a very nicely written letter of condolence. Normally, I would suggest mechanized warfare. That's always done great against the bugs, but that option is also problematic. You see, with a Hernar Secundus under enemy occupation, vehicle fuel rations have been reduced by 90% across the board. You'd think that would just affect FRVs, right? No, it affects exosuits, and you have about 2.5 minutes of steady operation before the controls go dead. So, sadly, unavailable. And with Bull Rock being a heavily forested world with plentiful trees to block airstrikes, that does make one's options rather limited. In other news, the Automaton Collective has been busy dealing with a sudden uprising within its own ranks, courtesy of the Forged Alliance. It's had its hands full dealing with the rebellion and has not been able to make any moves towards the front lines. Let's hope the boys in Binary over there are doing okay. Way I figure it, if you're standing up to tyranny, it doesn't matter if you're flesh and blood or metal and wire. You've got a democratic soul, and that's what counts. The Seventh Frontier is having its usual difficulties. Lack of manpower and supplies. You can't catch the blasted squids. You know how it is. Especially with everything that's been going on in the TQZ lately. They've been doing what they can, but Meridia still remains fairly flush with dark matter, holding at about a 75% charge. Here's hoping that this Penrose siphon idea works as advertised, and that can buy us some time to figure out what to do with all this nonsense. Now in news from the business sphere. There is some truly concerning information coming out of the planet Gunvald. Apparently, the planet has been locked down in martial law. Arthur Gunvaldus is citing election interference as cause, blaming the Automaton Collective and traditionalist reactionaries, and has arrested the members of the corporate board. The police and military seem somewhat confused on what they're supposed to do with all of this. They're getting conflicting orders from their superiors and those superiors, and law enforcement has ground to a screeching halt. Curfews have been implemented, public gatherings prohibited, and obviously, there's no more talk of an election now, or any time in the immediate future. Mr. Gunvald, being a Helldiver, saw the writings on the wall and escaped arrest, fleeing the planet before anyone could stop him. His location remains unknown as he was picked up by an unknown military group, and he bypassed the planetary defenses before disappearing completely of planetary defenses, Gunvold's STS batteries are armed and are set to fire on any vessel that approaches, be it military or civilian, and they represent a significant navigational hazard. As of right now, no one is getting in, and no one is getting out. Gunvold has become a hermit kingdom, and with the stock market price check coming in tomorrow morning, that's certainly bad news for Gunvold. So, what do you think, dear listeners? Are there really election shenanigans going on with the system rigged against him? Or is Arthur Gunvaldus dipping his pinky toe into the hot tub of tyranny and finding the water to his liking? You be the judge. Leave your answers in the comment section below. I do read them all, even if responding to each one is getting to be a little bit beyond me. I do love hearing from you all, though, especially since we just crossed 1,000 subscribers. Honestly, thank you all so much. I never thought that I would get this far. You all are truly the wind beneath my wings. And speaking of hearing from people...
Bandera, this is Dr. Victor Christoph. Do you copy? Bandera, do you copy?
Roger that, Doctor. I copy you. How have you been?
Oh my god. Oh, I'm so happy to hear you, my friend. Mercy has told me to get in contact with you. He says you might have a hypothesis that you wanted to discuss with me. What might this hypothesis be?
Yeah, see, this one is really out there. And if it works, it'll help everybody. But it involves using your vaccine to actually conquer death the same way that the Illuminate do. It's a bit much to explain all in one go, but we could, in theory, bring people back from the dead. Yeah, more or less as they were. I'm not talking zombies. I am talking full-blown resurrection.
Wait, Pandera, I must express my concerns on this. You do realize what the body does after death, yes?
Yes, but the prion that the Illuminate carry, it acts more like a nanite, reconstructing and converting necrotic flesh into functioning voteless tissue. Overseers and illusionists like Skavoon are dead. They've been dead for some time. But they retain their minds by using psionic influence to suppress the growth of the prion.
I do understand what you are thinking, as if the Illuminate can psionically use their powers to keep their mind alive, but yet their bodies are that of the dead. You do realize that the human DNA and squid's DNA are two different scientific explanations. Both cannot coexist. I have tried that once, and trust me, it made a whole different species that has yet to exist. I have it locked away for a reason.
Yes, most human beings don't have the psionic potential to control the prion on a microcellular level like what we're talking about. That's what your vaccine is for. At the very least, we can try it, and if it doesn't work, no harm done. We can just do away with the test subject and try to think of something else. A test subject wouldn't be hard to acquire either. The southern frontier is full of them.
I do see your point, but you must realize that... Mein Gott, Pandera, it finally hit me. I know exactly what you're trying to tell me. You're trying to suggest that if we find somebody whom is already deceased, we infect them with the prion and inject them soon after, to not only stop infection, but to cure them from death. You're a genius. This has to work.
I certainly hope so, because right now, we are losing this war. We've cut down billions of Terminids, and it didn't matter. The automaton situation continues to just grow out of control, and if we don't stop Meridia, everyone dies anyway. But if we can match the undying numbers of our enemy, think about it. If it were me, I'd certainly want another shot at the monkey fluffer that killed me.
Then let's not wait any longer. It's time we start turning the tide of this war back into our favor by starting on Project Necromancer immediately. By tomorrow morning's broadcast, you should have your results. Until then, though, auf Wiedersehen, Fräulein Pandera, Dr. Christoph signing off.
Thank you so much for your help, Doctor. Have a nice night. me, Pondera the Radio Angel, and that, dear listeners, is how we're going to get a key advantage over the many enemies of democracy. We'll take their strengths and twist them back against them until they are defeated or they give up. Just like those great heroes who fought for the safety and security of our mother planet in the XCOM project. We'll keep fighting, and we'll win. We have to. We are faced with extinction, and in those dire circumstances, every alternative is preferable. For liberty, for freedom, for democracy, and for Super Earth.